I was yours on Sunday while we watched the children play. We fell deep in love again.
You're watching Triple A Backstage. We're here with Robbie Miller. How's your day been so far, mate?
Yeah, pretty good. Got up nice and late, had a few coffees, and yeah, been a pretty good day.
No breakfast, just straight coffee?
Oh, I had a Barocca, so if you class that as breakfast Barocca, so it's pretty good.
Good. So I guess you'll dive down later in the other.
I'm lying, I had a Vegemite toast.
Oh, that's
You know, Vegemite divides some people, so thought I'd keep it out.
Alright, well, diving straight into the music. A few weeks ago, you beautifully covered Say My Name by A Desert for like a version. Why did you choose that song particularly to cover?
I guess I was just kind of wanted to choose a song that I liked and kind of music I liked. I'm a big fan of a desert, so kind of went through their 2 albums and picked a song that I thought might be easiest. Mm-hmm. And I was also kind of mindful that I just didn't want to do like a carbon copy of the original.
Yeah.
So I thought that song lyrically lent itself to something that I could maybe change a little bit to suit more the type of music that I play.
Okay.
Yeah, so I chose it.
Have they got back to you, like given you any?
No, how
tips
dare they? Would have been good.
Yeah, well, any news is good news, I guess, for that.
Yeah, or no news might be good news as well. So,
well, everyone loved it in Triple J, so yeah. And the cover also kind of lent itself towards the kind of sound in your new single Road, which definitely sees a lot more instrumentation and definitely a heavier drum beat, almost electronic compared to The Pain that you released almost a year ago, I guess.
Yep, a year ago.
Is that a musical direction you're looking to more go into, or was The Road just a one-off, slightly electronic song?
Yeah, I guess it's probably to the further side of where the music's going. So somewhere in the middle between Road and The Pain is the kind of direction that I'm looking to take. So yeah, it's just, I think the way the song was produced kind of lent itself to that style, so it's the way we took it.
Okay. And so your upcoming EP, which will be out sometime in the future.
Sometime in the future, later this year.
So is it going to feature slightly more electronic beats, or is it all still going to stay true to like your very folky roots? Because that's what previously been.
It's probably a bit more electronic than the previous release, but it won't be completely electronic sound.
So are you happy for people to remix your newer stuff? Is that
sure?
What you thought of?
Yeah, sure. Why not? That'd be awesome.
Robbie Miller bangers, kind of thing?
Yeah. If it gets played on radio, sure.
I don't know. Obviously.
I don't know if people will want to dance like that to my music, but someone wants to remix my songs, I'm never going to say no.
You could speed it up 100 beats per minute and see what happens. Hopefully not sound like a chipmunk though. And the new sound in Road does somewhat sound similar to Dustin Teddett's stuff, which you're currently supporting on his national tour. How's that going?
Yeah, really good. So Dustin's a really nice guy, and so is Woods, the first girl that plays in the shows. And I've been a fan of Dustin since he released Breach in 2013.
Yep.
So you get the opportunity to play with him. It's actually been really nice, and I formed a band for the tour, so it's kind of our first shows playing together, and so far it's been a really, really fun experience.
To take the fun out of it, has there been any like major teething problems going from you to you and the band?
No, not at all. It's actually made it far more enjoyable, so I just don't have to hang out by myself all day. I've got 2 other people to annoy, which is always fun.
And would they say the same thing? Are you annoying on tour?
I think we're all annoying in certain ways. Dance-offs and the like, so we've had a few dance-offs and stuff like that, so yeah.
Is that code for something a bit more
serious? No, seriously, we're just making up dance moves and doing what we can.
I'm half tempted to ask you to show us some dance moves now.
No, that's strictly Dan, the pianist. He's the one that's got all the dance moves.
Yeah. And touring with Dustin, has he given you any helpful tips, or you've learned anything that you didn't realise you should improve on or do before?
Not too sure if I've learnt too much, but it is just good to watch someone at that level, how they operate and how they obviously work with the crowd, and what happens before the show. I think that's one thing.
What do you mean by before the show?
Just preparation that him and the band kind of do and go through, and their own kind of zones. I guess everyone before a show has their own little routines.
Yep.
Mine recently has been like Pokemon Go, so seems to get me amped up for the shows. But
Pokemon amps you up.
yeah, of course, got to catch them
Is
all.
that like when you catch the real good ones or the bad ones? You're like, oh yeah, that's
Well, every capital city's got like different Pokemon. It's always exciting. Got to get to 150.
So we've been talking about your upcoming second EP. Firstly, when can we actually expect that to be out? And secondly, how do you feel it's going to differ to your debut EP, The Faster the Blood Slows?
So I guess as definitive as I can be, it'll be out later this year. So that's that. In terms of kind of difference in sound, I guess, with the first EP I had, pretty much my whole life to kind of work on that, because that's the way it goes with your first EP. And majority of that EP was finished easily probably 18 months before it was released. So I was sitting on those songs for a long time, and over that period I was continually writing and developing, I guess, the sound that I wanted and the performance style that I wanted. So there will be, I guess, I think vocally I'll probably be a little bit stronger, and also there might be that bit more of an electronic element with like background kind of synths and drums, but I don't think it'll be a complete change to the previous EP.
Okay. And will that affect your live set towards the end of the year? Like, are you going to change things up?
Not really. At the moment it's a 3-piece, and I'll probably stick with that. I think it kind of works quite well, because I do want to stay true to the music that I love, which is rooted a bit more in that folk area, so we'll stick to that as best as possible.
I've got one more question for you. And, it's quite an interesting point to you as a person, not just your music. You're a program manager for the Australian Indigenous Mentoring Experience.
Yep.
So how did you become involved in that organisation, and why is that so important for the education of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander children?
So I guess I got involved when I was studying music at uni. I came to QUT and I was offered as an opportunity, and I took it, and I loved it. And I guess when I finished my degree, there was a job opening up, so I applied and I got it. That was 6 years ago, and I've been doing it ever since, and I love it. And in terms of why it is good for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander high school students, I think you don't have to be too, I guess, to know that there's a huge discrepancy and a gap between educational outcomes in Australia between Indigenous and non-Indigenous students. I think it's just providing that little extra support and guidance to see what a positive pathway school can actually provide to individuals. And I guess that's the real power in it. And we use university students to mentor, so young people working with young people.
Cool. And have you personally seen like a big change since you've been on board?
Yeah, well, I can only really talk with the areas that I've worked and the kids that I've worked with, and absolutely. I mean, we're kicking some pretty good goals comparative to the rest of the Australian areas that we work in. So I guess things take time to change, and I've been doing it for 6 years, so hopefully in 5 or 6 more years time I'll see a lot greater change.
Definitely. Well, I hope you keep working with them because you're making a difference.
Yeah, cool.
You've been watching Triple A Backstage. We've been chatting with Robbie Miller. He's got a new song called Road out. It's pretty good. And catch out his EP due sometime out later this year. See you later.
Hold you, hold